Discovery, go at throttle up.
Okay. Welcome to the Space and Rocket Review. Space and Rocket Review. YouTube chats. Tell your friends. Space and Rocket Review. One night only. Every night. Space and Rocket Review. What's going on, everybody? It is Wednesday, November 13th, 2024. Running a little bit behind schedule for space news today, but we are here. How's everybody doing? FYI, your build stream from today has the same title as this stream. Yeah, I know. I saw it. It didn't close out updating the titles, which is annoying, but we'll figure it out. I don't know what to do about that. So, topic of discussion. Let me get some of the links transferred over. And we'll go from there. We have some news from Stoke about them getting their engine on the test stand, which is pretty good. Okay, there's that. Give me 1 second. I'm just getting through all of them here. All right. Feeling better? Yeah, I'm all right. I'm coming around. My dog is asleep right now. Is that space news? Yes, yes. Didn't Stoke just complete Hop 2? It was a little while back, Charlie, but yes. Okay. All right. Let's get all this together. There isn't much, guys. Like there's not much in the news here. Oh, I mean, with the exception of Starship stuff, there's always something going on at Starbase, right? Vast did give us a little bit of an update as to what's going on, which is pretty good. So let's just get that on there. The EVA FOD incident, some horror footage for you. Hey, Brandon, what's going on? Did you see the Crew 8 interview? No? It's only a model. Yeah, you know, I didn't need that. It's a model that you couldn't put it in a museum or something? Or... Oof. Oof. It's at Space World in Fukuoka. Destroyed in 2018 due to huge maintenance cost. Oh, okay. That was a long time ago. It doesn't matter. Big C, 32-month resub. It's a 1-to-1 that was in Japan. It's a pretty good model. That's a pretty good model, dude. Pretty good. Okay, so let's jump through the rest of the news here. So first off, we'll talk to Joseph Bislington, who, yeah, ignore your design flaws and keep on moving. Joseph Bislington. I wanted to share this because I thought it was funny. Joe's got a new video coming out soon, by the way. Should probably go. You know. Go subscribe to bps.space. Sound advice, though. Sound advice. Anyway, next bit of news here is coming from Vast. So decades have passed since the space station primary structure has been manufactured in the United States. VAST is changing that. Our Haven 1 qualification primary structure is in its final stage of welding at our HQ facility. Next, the completed structure will go to Mojave, California, to our Mojave, California facility for a critical test to demonstrate its ability to handle pressure and dynamic loads and launch of launch and operations. There you go. Nice. Billet. Yummy. Oh. Impressive. Very nice. Interesting that the stringers are on the outside of the module, not the inside. That's a very interesting design choice. But then again, it is designed to hold pressure, right? Like if you see a rocket fuel tank, right? Rocket fuel tank would have the stringers on the inside. Space station module has the stringers on the outside because the pressure differential, 15 psi to vacuum, or, flight pressures inside of a tank to atmosphere, I guess. That's pretty good. The interior of the VAST modules look larger than I thought they'd be. Yeah, these are pretty big modules, dudes. They're pretty large. Yeah. So I know what people are gonna say. Why is this one look like a party hat? What VAST is planning on doing is obviously having docking ports at the end of the module, at either end of the module. But if you look, this one, before it goes from the big diameter down to this kind of intermediate diameter, down to the docking port diameter, right? You have this cylindric section right there. That is the service module. The service module is shaped like a donut for this thing, for the capsule. Shaped like a donut, and it slides over this. If you look closely at this, there's a boss, like a boss. There's bosses all over that cylindrical piece. So what does that mean? That's left over from, well, the machining process. I don't know if you'd necessarily call them a boss, but see how there's holes? There's screw holes everywhere. See the holes for all the different stuff? Look. See all these funky little guys here? The funky cold Medina. See all this stuff? That's where stuff will mount to it, like the service module and propulsion and thrusters and stuff. If you look at like these ones, they don't have as much. They don't have nearly as much things to mount to. So yeah, this one will stack on top of this, and then this will be flipped around 180 degrees and stacked right there. It forms one module. It's actually super cool. I always say talk is cheap, right? Here, there's the module right there. See what I'm talking about? If you look right here, this is the cone side, and the other side, even though it doesn't look like it, is the party hat side. See the thruster block? 1, 2, 3, and 4 right there? That is the donut-shaped service module, and this is the intermediate cylinder piece right here. Pretty cool, huh? No music. Go away. Hello. People doing things in space. See how the module just looks like it has two cones on either side? Well, no, this side is the double tapered side. That's the front. See the front right there? And then the front with the window. See the thing with the window? There's the thing with the window. There's the middle, and then that's the back. Service module will go right here. It's donut shaped. It's a donut. Oh, somebody shot you in the butt. No, still cool. I want to make it clear that these station modules are very, 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 very preliminary. They're just doing testing. Space news? Oh yeah, the wooden satellite. Can you believe that phenomenon? That's pretty cool. I don't think you got to these yesterday. No, I didn't. We were talking about the mobile launcher. I love Windows from Microsoft. Yeah. So these are still very preliminary, but it's good to see some primary structures fabricated. We're probably still a number of years off from these modules being like launched, but still cool. It's cool to see commercial space stations have potential in the future. And Max Hewitt, the guy that kind of runs Vast, is a pretty cool dude. He comes from the streaming world, believe it or not. The Mevo cameras that are used for IRL streaming, yeah, his idea. He sold it to Logitech and then used that to make space stuff. Fun fact. So that's pretty cool. All right. So Stoke, here's an update from them. They got that engine, that developmental. Oh my gosh, is that a developmental engine? Whoa. Look at all the DFI. Wow. It looks like a spider web. See all this stuff? All developmental sensors. That's all you want. Sometimes you want to put a lot of sensors on a test engine.
Discovery, go at throttle up.
And by a lot, I mean a lot. Yeah. It looks like Raptor 1 back in the day. Yeah, that has a lot of DFI on it. Developmental flight instrumentation. Basically, why would you put so many dang sensors on it? So, with rocket engines, you have OFI sensors, operational flight instrumentation, right? And when you go to test an engine, well, how do you know if your OFI sensors are calibrated correctly? Have a developmental sensor right next to it. Have a DFI sensor right next to it. Maybe in double redundancy, depending on the importance of said sensor. The reason why you basically outfit a lot of these this propulsion with crazy amounts of sensors is because you're trying to make sure that your OFI sensors are reading correctly. That's part of it. I mean, there are other parts, you know, like you want to make sure that you have the right pressures and impeller speeds, etc., etc. I like the fit today. Thanks, Ben. Why such a short nozzle? It's a first stage engine, Graham. Bandit, 73 months. That's a nice engine. DFI, Developmental Flight Instrumentation. What is this? Who linked this? What is this? How I feel about this engine. The Dream Design Liquid Rocket Engine as viewed by various groups. Performance analysis. The first one made me laugh. That's pretty good. Turbo machinery design. Yep. Your thrust chamber assembly is a little guy. Boost pumps, main pumps. Marketing. Man rated. Infinitely high ISP. Wait, less than 0. It's got a Band-Aid on it, and it's leaking oil. OSHA. Specific impulse is 5 seconds. Force to weight is 0.1. Rocket exhaust scrubber. Noise abatement fixtures. Turbine exhaust scrubber. Why is it all in Comic Sans, too? Heat transfer analysis. Heat exchangers. Coolant passages, more heat exchangers, rocket exhaust, minus 50 Fahrenheit. This is pretty funny. Manufacturing, rope, steel drum, commercial pumps, sheet metal, duct tape. Weight evaluation, nylon, TPAs, aluminum foil, TCAs. Oh, God. Aluminum foil thrust chamber assembly. Styrofoam propellant lines, cork sheet nozzle extension? No. No. And what's this one behind me? Hold on. What is this? What is this last one? Preliminary design. Design description. Thrust, 50,000 pounds of force, plus or minus 150,000 pounds of force. Wait. 1,000 pounds or 3,500 pounds. Specific impulse, 450 or maybe 800. Length, 75 or 200 inches. Whatever. Could be whatever. Oh, jeez. Oh, man. So which one is Stokes' engine, then? Which one is it? Turbo Machinery design team won at Stoke. This one? You think it's this one? Turbo Machinery, definitely. I don't think they're using boost pumps, though, but all right. Yeah, it's that one. That's funny. Yeah. Yeah, look at all the sensor suites on that thing, man. Holy cow. Well, considering the tiny thrusters on their second stage. Dude, their second stage engine is absolutely this. Their second stage engine's absolutely that one as well. It's absolutely that one. That's super funny, actually. Now, which one is Raptor, then? Which one would... Raptor is manufacturing, isn't it? It's manufacturing, isn't it? Sensors, yes. Yep. Raptor is marketing? Is it marketing or is it manufacturing? Marketing? Preliminary design? Oh, yeah. Raptor's the last one, but with fixed numbers. Nice. Which one is performance analysis? Which one is that? That's an RL10B2 all day. Raptor's actually flown. Yeah, right? No, that's a Raptor 2 vacuum. B3U. That's pretty funny, dude. B3U all day. Yeah, that makes sense. That's crazy. Heat transferring out rocket exhaust. Minus 50 F. That's awesome. This is really funny, dude. Who? Miranda did this. Yeah, there you go. Oh, that's pretty funny. Wait, is that guy's handle I eat crayons? Yeah, all right. Crayons. Oh, it has 154 likes. I can't like it again. Sorry. Out of my control. All right, what's this next bit of news? This one is Space Perspective. Spaceship Neptune was designed for splashdowns because it's an inherently safe option compared to ground landings. There's more... Oh, this is the balloon that flies up into space, right? Splashdowns have been utilized for decades by NASA and more recently adopted by SpaceX. Upon descent, we control our space balloon to precisely predict the ocean landing spot for each flight. So Space Perspective is a balloon that flies way high up into the atmosphere and then splashes down, apparently. Our patented splash cone, located at the bottom of the capsule, helps to break the surface tension of the water, ensuring a low-impact, safe landing. Once in the water, splash cone fills up and acts as a stabilizer for the capsule as the fast boats come to assist with retrieval. From the moment splashdown occurs, we aim to have the capsule back onto the deck of the MS Voyager and Explorers, departing from Spaceship Neptune in about 20 minutes. Yeah, Space Perspective wants to... let me see if there's a picture of it. Yeah, there we go. That's, it's a balloon that flies way high up in the air.
Discovery, go at throttle up.
Space Perspective having most of the community tweets community noted is funny. Yeah, that's a good time, dude. I mean, Yeah, Space Perspective. Space Perspective is a company that wants to do high altitude balloon tourism out of the Cape. I mean, I do see some flight hardware here, like, or at least test hardware at best. Like, yep, that's Port Canaveral. There's a ASDS. There's a shortfall of gravitas over there. And then they have their balloony loon. My boat. Can't you just use a weather balloon for that? I think they're attaching that thing to a big, not weather balloon, but you get the idea. Hey AP, what's going on? Arguably safer space tourism than going to the Titanic via deep sea tourism. Right. I'm still salty about that. The aluminum ships, aluminum? Really? 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 Can you make a warship out of aluminum? What are you, nuts? I still think that's dumb. Like, I get it, but also, you didn't really think that one through, did we? We didn't really think that one through. You have a friend who interned at Space Perspective. They're pretty goofy. Yeah. Would I ride on Space Perspective? Yeah, sure. It's a balloon. Sure, why not? It's a lot of beer cans. It is a lot of beer cans, yeah. All right, so this next one's coming from Boeing Space here. Special delivery for SES. The newly delivered 7th and 8th O3B mPOWER satellites are ready for launch to medium Earth orbit. They will provide high-speed global broadband connectivity. Oh, I hope they don't explode. Yeah, Charlie, that's what I'm saying. What's worse is that they aren't even American. They're an Australian hull. I know, right? Ridiculous. Now, Boeing has had 2 satellite buses of their design, 703MP, explode recently. I wonder what sat bus those ones are using. Hold on, let's take a look. Nope. It's a 702X bus. Okay, those ones aren't known for popping. Look up Project Habakkuk. That's a design you can get angry at. There's plenty of those out there. Does Boeing also operate the sat buses? No, they do not. The first 4 of those satellites have power switch failures, so these are redesigned. Can you just like make it right the first time? Interesting. That would cost money. Yeah. Yeah, it would. Can you make sense of this mess? Also, volume warning. Model of a 6th generation fighter. Baidi, White Emperor in Zhuhai. Okay, volume warning. Guys, turn it down. I'll just put it there. That's fine. Can I make sense of it? No. 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 I don't know why you'd make that way. Dude, there's no way. This is for a movie. This is a set piece. Look at the landing gear. There's no way. It's a set piece. Look at the missiles. Those are fake. All right. That's nowhere even close to a high fidelity mock-up. That's like about as real of an aircraft as the Dark Star. Yep. It looks like they tried to combine an X-15 and an F-22. It looks like they have no idea what they're doing, and it's really funny to watch. Anyway, so we have Starship rolling out here from what I can tell. Let me just pop open SBL here real quick, see what we can see. What's good? What's good? Oh, hello. Look at that. Look at that booster. Booster 13 is out of its bay. The Dark Star is more real than that. Yeah, you're probably right. We didn't make a 6th-gen fighter yet, so they don't have anything to copy from. Yeah, you're not wrong. Was that the canarded China plane? It was something. I don't know what that is. Hooks are removed. Ready to roll out. Sure, Black. Yeah. The ship 31, the banana, is already at the site. We should see a stack either late tonight or tomorrow morning. Once again, this is all in preparation for a Starship flight, but Flight 6, for Starship Flight 6, which should be happening on Monday. It's no earlier than. It might be Tuesday, it might be Wednesday, who knows. But yeah, all this is in preparation of that Starship flight. There's the booster, and there's the Starship for the next Starship mission. Basically, a little over a month since the last time. Actually, Flight 5 was 1 month ago. Can you believe that? Crazy. 2 Starship launches in less than 2 months. That's pretty neat. That's pretty neat. How does the ship get lifted by the tower? It's the same way it gets caught, Random. Right there, right where my mouse cursor is the pin. The chopsticks will go and they'll attach to the pin and it'll pull it up. Actually, hold on. I can give you a better example. So there's 2 pins. There are 2 pins on either side. There's one here, one right there, and one right there. The chopsticks will go here, and they grab the pins, and then they lift it up. It's the same way it lands. It's the same thing. You could see the pin actually right here. See it? It's just this little tiny guy right there. And then there's another one. You could just see the other one right here. See what I'm talking about? Right there. You could just see the pins on either side. And that is actually how it lands, too. It lands by being caught on those pins, but that's also how it lifts it up. Hi-ho, Silver! Away! Anyway. Just want to point out the ridiculous scale of this thing. If you're having trouble picturing how big that booster is, look at the water truck that's at the very bottom there. See the water truck? See the water truck? The one that's that's easy. Same as the ship pins. No, the ship pins don't work like that. No. I still can't believe they caught those arms with the pins. Yeah, Flight 5 was impressive, to say the least. Flight 6 should be another one of these, too. Get a lot more data on the booster here. The world's largest beer keg. My rocket is best beer keg. By the way, those tiles on the aft flap are probably testing a new tile attachment at in a high vibration area. Aft flap. Yep. They caught a booster? They did catch a booster. The ship pins are a ball and socket. Yeah, right, Ariel. There, you could just see the socket for it right there. It's just below the flap. So like it'd be right here. And basically the chopsticks move in and they'll grab the socket and then they'll lift up. What's going to happen to Booster 12? It's sitting in the rocket garden right now, Willie. In the flap pit. Yeah. That's a way to, yeah, call it that. The booster lands on a rail that has suspension on it. Yes, exactly. There are shock absorbers. If you look at that footage over there, you could see the two rails. The booster will land on the pins and then it'll move down. See that? Those are your shock absorbers. Dude. You know what? You know what we're doing? You know what we're doing? I feel like it.
Attention all flight crew members, this is the final go, no-go poll for operations. Raptor 1.
Raptor 1's go.
Raptor 2.
Go.
Stage 1.
Go.
Stage 2.
Go.
So hopefully we'll get to see this again on Monday.
We have liftoff.
Vehicles pitching downrange.
Yeah, really, Eric? Still. Yeah, well, you'll see that again soon. Dude. Look at that thing.
Startup.
Stage separation. Booster pushback burn.
Oh my
Canadian
goodness.
0, 3 seconds till catch
Look at it.
decision.
It's so
Confirm
freaking
30
good,
seconds
dude.
to make that decision.
10 seconds till catch decision.
Hot stage separation confirmed.
Flight director is go for booster return. Operator go vote is set true. We are go for catch.
Bruh.
Coming in hot for booster catch.
Booster FTS is saved.
Dude.
And I ignite 13 of those Raptor engines, and this view is incredible right now. I can't wait for us to hear the sonic boom.
Booster landing burn startup.
What the hell? What the heck, dude? Look at that thing. Imagine that thing coming towards you. Ah, the watch. Oh, that's so good, man. Yo, we need it again. It needs to happen again. Again on Monday. Again.
Zavilla has caught the booster.
Ship avionics power function nominal.
Starship has entered the atmosphere.
Ship catch. I'm waiting for it, dude. I'm waiting for it.
Heating phase of entry.
Landing bird startup.
Starship is off target.
Dude.
Starship has landed.
Just think of all those who had hands on that on building that thing. Yeah, it is a Herculean effort, dude, and they're making it look easy.
Starship has landed.
Yeah, I had this as my background for Flame Trench. Apparently some people didn't like that. I thought it was funny. Dude. Just. Ugh.
We can see those chops that this is absolutely insane.
I can't believe that. I can't believe they just did that. That still boggles my mind. Dude, Falcon 9 landings are still not old for me. Like, I see a Falcon 9 land, I'm like, that's that's pretty impressive. This is like, what the you did what? How did you do that? That is pretty neat. Yes, Pigeon. I've seen them go. Raiden crazy, right? Something out of Halo. Nuts. This is close to dividing by 0. Yeah, I'm just like What's the Vegas odds on a second catch? I think they'll get it, Willie. Dude, you don't know how much of a monumental moment this is. Because, okay, think about it like this. SpaceX has the telemetry from this flight. They have the telemetry from Flight 5, okay? And because you have the telemetry from Flight 5, you know what works. You know what works. You know what the booster has to do to get it right. You know what works. So when they go to do the second flight, it'll be,
Discovery.
they'll use they'll use the telemetry from this one basically as a guide because you know what works, and then you refine it from there. I have no doubts that they're going to get the next one. They'll absolutely get it. Fast forward 15 years. Where are we then? 15 years? Moonbase, and then Mars exploration. If SpaceX keeps going on the trajectory that they're going. It was 1 second from abort. So everybody listens to that Starship meeting and hears the 1 second thing and freaks out. They only said that as because that was the closest thing that came to failure. All right? But the fact that, honestly, guys, 1 second of burn time for the rocket is a long time. That's a long time. Think about it like this. An upper stage burns for an extra second, screws your trajectory completely. Same idea here. 1 second is not a lot. The reason why they brought that up in the Diablo 4 Starship review, and the reason why the SpaceX engineers brought that up was because that was the closest thing that came to failure. And then they were talking about parameters, right? And out of all the things, that was the closest thing, right? Now, the way everybody took that was that, oh my God, it was 1 second away from exploding. It almost failed. No. Nope. Not how this works. 1 second is an insanely long time. They only said they said that because they were citing the closest thing that came to failing and how close it was to aborting the landing. But once again, here's the thing. They were doing thousands of simulations, but until, you could do all the simulations you want in the world. You could do all the sims that you want in the world. Until this actually happens, it means nothing. You need flight data to corroborate your simulation data to make sure your simulation data is right. And I'm pretty sure they got it right. And from here, that 1 second thing's never going to be a problem. It'll never be a problem ever again. Now, the chine coming off because of not enough spot welds probably should fix that, because there is a bunch of single redundant pneumatic systems under there. And I don't have a problem with the single redundancy. There's a lot of things on spacecraft that are single redundant. So I don't really have a problem with that per se. It's the chine coming off that you want to, like, in that particular engineering application, right? They said that the spot welds, we didn't put enough spot welds on the chines, so the chines came off super heavy and it exposed a bunch of single fault redundant pneumatics, right? I saw a lot of folks saying, actually, I think we discussed this on Flame Trench like 2 weeks ago. You know, like, oh, maybe we shouldn't make that stuff single fault redundant. Maybe it should be double fault redundant. I'm like, why? Why? Making that double fault redundant just means you're okay with the chines blasting off. So you're going to design a system to take into account that the thing might rip apart during landing? I'm pretty sure you don't want that. Pretty sure you don't want it to do that. You know? So it doesn't matter that the pneumatic systems under there are single fault redundant. You know, that's fine. They work. That works just fine. It's the chine coming off. You might want more spot welds to hold the chine in place. And I believe they actually did spot weld more stainless back onto Booster 12, repair it, and then put it out in the rocket garden. Anyway, Starship is looking to fly on Monday, and that should be pretty awesome, dude. For a moment, I thought Booster 12 was going to crash into the ship quick disconnect from the angle. Dude, it definitely does. Snackless, I'll talk about that in a second. I think it's just the camera angles, guys. It does. Now, don't get me wrong. She does swerve for sure. But if you look down here where the pad they turned on the pad deluge again. If you look where the water from the pad deluge is being perturbed, it actually doesn't get near the tower. I mean, it looks like it might just a little bit, right? But I think the perspective is what screws with it. Dude, I still can't believe that happened. You've got to be kidding me. How many orbits would Starship have to do to return to launch site? Sorry for repeating the question. Oh, don't worry about it. How many orbits? Well, that really depends on how much cross-range capability Starship has cooking. How much cross-range do you have? Starship should have a pretty good amount of cross-range, especially if the wings are down, if the flaperons are down. You should be, I mean, it's not going to be a lot. It certainly will not be as much as the space shuttle. At least I don't think, if I'm thinking about cross-sections, right? If it has a decent amount of cross-range capability, probably once around. A once around will do you right. That was the real benefit of the space shuttle. If something did go wrong, you could abort, come back down, and the thing, you could just turn through re-entry and basically land wherever you want. Yeah, you'd have to factor the inclination in. I mean, if we really want, I mean, how exactly, Simba, how crazy do we want to get here? Let's take a look. Noob question, what's cross range? Cross range is being able to turn during re-entry, Jack. What is our latitude here for Boker Cheeker? 25. It's 25 north. Hang on. All right, here, hold up. Let me path this. Give me 1 second. But you got to take into account the Earth spinning underneath you. So that would put our that would put the next. Hold on 1 second, dudes. That would probably put once again, the Earth is spinning, so this is going to look a little weird superimposing the trajectory over, but long story short, it'd be like that. It'd do something like this. And it would probably get you up here somewhere. Once again, that is a very, very napkin math explanation of what's going on. I don't know if Starship could overcome that type of cross-range capability, guys. I'm pretty sure it can't. Unless there's something I don't know. Yeah, it would be up here somewhere. Now, you want to know something nuts? The shuttle could do that. Sure. Shuttle could overcome that. Yeah, no problem. The shuttle could be flying on this trajectory and then turn during hypersonic and land in Boca Chica, provided there was a runway there. That's what made the shuttle so damn cool. It could do that because of the big old wings. Sorry, I've almost said something else. Yeah, that cross-range capability is huge. Just on a side note, guys, if you want to know why this, the Department of Defense had a lot of influence on the design of the space shuttle. And part of it was making it big and giving it those big wings. Well, why? Well, we talked about Slick 6 the other day. If the shuttle was going to launch something to Slick 6, it would fly on a trajectory like this, right? Out of Vandenberg. And when it did, it would go once around and it would be a 90-minute rotation. That means that, when it came back again, it was out here somewhere because California moves that way. The California you launch from moves. So that means the next orbit would be over here somewhere. The shuttle has enough to overcome that. It could cross range and land back at Vandenberg. Yeah, it has enough to be able to do this during re-entry. Is that nutty or what? Now, you want to see something really cool? Look at the runway at Vandenberg. It just works. Yeah, the shuttle could do that. That's what made that thing so damn good, dude. A once around mission, David, if they were going to launch it from Slick 6, the Air Force was going to use it to put spy satellites in space. So it would have launched over here, deployed the satellite over the Indian Ocean, and then once around over the North Pole, and then cross range turn. The shuttle could basically surf plasma through reentry, and you could steer. That's what I say this to Kerbal players, guys. Some Kerbal players, where I was like, EJ, you make shuttles and you make the shuttle come back to the runway every time. How do you make it come back to the runway every time? Well, if you made a good hypersonic reentry vehicle, you should be able to fly it while you're going Mach 25. Or in Kerbal's case, you should be able to fly it where you're going Mach 5. The shuttle, you can fly it. You could fly and maneuver it like an airplane going hypersonic speeds, which is bananas. But keep in mind, how a plane flies at hypersonic speed is not... It's not like the shuttle could just be like, do a barrel roll. No. It kind of could just only do this. Like if this is the bottom of the shuttle, it can kind of just do that. That's about it. If it tried to do this during reentry, death. You die. The shuttle trying to do a barrel roll like during reentry or doing like acrobatics during reentry would be like trying to do acrobatics in a boat, in a speedboat when you're driving. Yeah, when you're underway. It wouldn't end well. Wouldn't end well at all. But yeah, I don't know if Starship has this type of cross-range capability. That I don't think it does. So we know at the very least it's going to be more than one orbit. With that being said, because the Earth is spinning and you launch something into a trajectory and the Earth keeps spinning, it'll eventually make it back. After how many orbits? Give me 1 second. I should be able to get that information for you. So figuring in a 90-minute orbital period, it's probably going to take about 12 hours to get back over. Right? So, 12 times 60. So that's 720 minutes. Divide that by a 90-minute orbital period. 8 orbits to get back over Boca Chica. Math. That was very rough napkin math. I'm not sure if that's 100% right, but that seems to be the gist of it. Where's Starship landing? So Starship is going to launch basically straight east out of Boca Chica. I was about to say out of the Cape, but it's not. Hold on. That right there, the line, is Starship's trajectory. That's where it's going to go. It might be a little bit of a variation of this. I'm pretty sure they don't want to fly it over the Everglades. So it might have an azimuth of like 85, or no, 95, maybe. And it's going to fly through the Strait of Florida right here. But that's basically the idea. And then the other Starship, so Flight 4 and Flight 5 landed over here somewhere. They landed out there. We're still on for the 18th as far as I can tell, yes. 7.86 if you take the opposite equatorial crossing. Yeah. Exactly. It's about 8 orbits, Raiden. This would be coming from a descending node. Yeah, yes, that's right. Yes, absolutely. The next, if the orbit is going this way, right? The initial orbit. So like it launched from right here. See, this orbit is kind of heads south like this. So the next one would be going like that. After 8 orbits, your orbital track will look like the yellow line. The white line was your ascent trajectory. Yeah, the next one will be crossed. Once again, it's because the Earth is on an axial tilt and it spins. Whatever you launch stays in the orbit relative to the uphill ride, but Earth is still spinning underneath you, right? Just because you're orbiting, right? The Earth's rotational speed is not necessarily your speed, right? So your orbit precesses, basically. That's the right word. That's not exactly the right way to say it, but your orbit moves. Your trajectory will shift. If you like superimposed it on a map, it'll shift in the opposite direction that the Earth is spinning in. Yeah. Space is weird like that. To the max. You're the drone guy. Thanks for the raid. Drone it up, dude. So yeah, that's there's the launch site right there. So yeah, I would probably not do a once around with Starship. I don't think you can do that. Thanks, EJ. It's an interesting problem, but it gives time to clear the pad for ship landing. 8 orbits, yeah. 8 orbits would be plenty of time cooking. Heck, yeah. I was gonna say SpaceX should have it down to where they could get super heavy away from the pad. See, now you know what I was just thinking, dudes? You know, Super Heavy's going to land, right? And they're, conceivably, like best case scenario, they're going to put it right back down on the OLM and set it down. Now Starship is going to land. How's that going to work? Do you think that Starship will land, like, directly over Super Heavy? Yeah, John, those are called ground tracks. Yep. Mm-hmm. I was about to say, like, when I was giving the explanation, the reason why I kind of tailed off at the end of that explanation was because I was about to say, oh, it shifts. The ground track shifts. Not realizing that people really don't know what a ground track means if you're not well-versed in spaceflight lingo. So I just had squiggly lines across the map, you know. Use the other tower. Yeah, there you go. Yeah, Snackless, I was thinking the chopsticks will just turn and, you know, it'll grab it over here and then catch the thing and then it'll steer it back and place it back up on there. Dudes, EJ just had a stupid idea. All right. Say you're looking at the tower from the top, okay? So here's your tower. That's what the tower looks like, right? Your draw works on the tower are right there, right? And then, you know, the OLM is right here, right? And then your chopsticks work off this pivot point right here, like that, right? What? Okay, so we know the chopsticks have a pretty damn good range of motion, right? They can go anywhere in this area right here for the most part, right? So why not have... This is going to look so stupid, but please bear with me. Why not have two OLMs right next to each other? So the chopsticks could go over here, right? And then they could swing all the way to the other one. That would give you a nice loading and landing zone right in the center. It's a bird. It's a freaking bird. Hoot. You could only use one pad at a time. Well, I was going to say, you set Super Heavy down on one, right? You have the landing zone here, and then, or you could move it out over the other pad, turn the pad deluge on. It reminds me of how Slick 37 is set up, or, well, was. I was not alive. I don't know if I have any good pictures of Slick 37 in here, believe it or not. Hold on. To the archives. Nope. I only have Complex 34. Here, let me explain. So Slick 37, I mean, Slick 37B is Delta 4's launch pad, but it wasn't always set up that way. Slick 37 had a mobile service gantry that actually moved left to right, if that makes any sense. I think there's a picture of it in here. Yeah, here we go. So you had two pads, but you had one integration. Your HIF actually moved left to right. So when pad B is in use, right, you just move it over here. It's so you could build a rocket on pad A, right, when pad B is in use, and then when pad A is ready to go, you just move it all the way back over. NASA really ended up not using this too much, but, you know, something like that, or a bird, right, might not be the worst way to do this. The hot stage adapter will not be part of Super Heavy, right? So at that point, why not just catch above it? Oh, will be part of Super Heavy. Yeah, that makes sense, Sarah. Yep. Owl Complex 1. I've always wondered why they don't do that. Just twin pad. Twin pad Starship pad. Much better for integration operations. Didn't some Titan pads have something similar to this? I'm rifling through. I don't think so. Maybe. The goal is to just not need to repair. Well, this is not necessary. Graham, it's not about repairing OLMs. It's about one tower being able to launch two starships. and launch and receive 2 starships, conceivably. So you're going to need 1 tower. 1 tower, 2 launch pads. 2 pads, 1 tower. Maybe that's why the arms on the second tower are shorter, so that they could slightly reach OLM2 and have a larger grip angle. And OLM2 will be very close to the tower. Yeah, maybe. Oh, God! Pad deluge. Shower. Two rockets, 1 chopstick. You know what? I don't like this conversation anymore. I don't like this. Yep, no. I don't like this conversation anymore. Let's just, here, chat, look, chat. Chat, look. Here you go. See? Hey! You know what I'm saying, though, right? Like, having another, this one caught it over the OLM. Why not put the OLM over here and then put another one right here? So your receiving area for loading up boosters and catching boosters is over nothing. It's not over the, over any of the pads. So you don't risk, doing this. Starship Revolver. See, instead of having the OLM here, put it right here. And then put another one, have another one right here. And then you load in the center. So you lift up and stack on the pads. So when a booster is coming back to land like this, you don't need to turn your deluge system on because there's nothing underneath it. There's just empty area here. You don't have to worry about damaging the OLM. I still can't believe that. I still cannot believe that that actually happened. Yeah, Tron, that's what we'll call it. We'll call it the Hooter Rack Liftoff Stack. Can the chopsticks go over a full stack, or would it be stuck in that position? Well, Mutter, you'd stack a super heavy, stack a starship, send it, move back over here, grab another starship, stack it. Right? Like, that's what makes sense. Or just tee up your starships, have your starships in the loading area, right? And just have super heavies on either thing, right? So, super heavy on each OLM, right? Say you have 4 starships, right? Take 1, put it on, send it, super heavy comes back, put it back on the OLM. 2, put it on the other super heavy, send it, right? Right? Move back over. Catch starship number 1, right? Put it back down. Take starship 3, put it back up, right? Like, or because it's for refueling, you just receive the second starship, stack it back, and just alternate. You just alternate back and forth, right? That way, once again, you only have 1 tower that's designed for receiving. Like, you don't need 2 towers. You just have 1 in 2 And you know what? Now that I'm thinking about it, maybe the catch arms don't have that range of motion. Either that, or SpaceX isn't looking that far down the road yet. They're just looking to figure out how to do the operations and then optimize from there, which does make sense because, once again, they didn't just think up Slick 37. Slick 37 was based off of what they learned from a single pad launch complex at LC-34, right? What they learned from LC-34 is that you can make a twin pad complex here. You just put another launch pad basically where my head is. When one is launching, you move the mobile service tower back over here. You could build rockets over here, launch that one, right, and then move it back and then launch off the second pad. Complex 34 led directly to Complex 37's design. So maybe we'll see a future twin pad starship pad in the future. The ship quick disconnect is kind of in the way. So have two on either side. Have two on either side that move out of the way. Right? Don't, you just have them work off the same pivot point. So a ship quick disconnect can move in or move out, move in or move out. Two OLMs on one flame trench doesn't work. Well, with the pad that they have designed right now, Gwen, yeah, it's not going to work on pad B. Pad B is not sufficient. The way this is designed, hold up. Let's look at RGB. RGB has a good picture of the trench from the other day. So the flame trench is 45 degrees off from where you would need it to be if my idea was a thing. If my idea was a thing, you'd need one flame trench here and then another one right here to do what I'm talking about. Hold on. Give me 1 second. I gotta send a message. Give me 1 moment. That's good enough. All right, cool. But yeah, the trench isn't going in the right direction for what I'm proposing. Once again, maybe I'm thinking I might be thinking too far ahead. How about you just get a pad that you can fully reuse first? So you catch between the trenches for everything and then rotate it to wherever stack needs to go. Yeah, exactly. 3 positions for the chopsticks. Exactly, Josh. Because the chopsticks have basically, let's say even if they have 120 degrees of motion. So they're actually, no, they would need 180 degrees of motion in this. Yeah, I mean, if they had 180 degrees of motion, it would work. You have, like, on your 180 degrees, position 0 is nothing. That's the landing area, right? Position 1 would be 120 degrees to one side. And then if position 1 is launching, you would need to open the chopsticks, right? So the right-hand chopstick would be over the loading area, and the left-hand chopstick would be out to the side of the OLM, right? And then you have launch position 1, you have loading position, and then you have launch position 2. You could do it. And then you have 2 ship quick disconnects, right? That are pivoting off the same point that go around the tower. And they can move in like this, or they can move in like that. I don't know. It's just a stupid theory of mine. I like coming up with these dumb theories, dude, just because I'm weird, right? An X-shaped flame trench sounds weirdly awesome. Yeah, this is not going to work. For what I'm describing, SpaceX would have needed to put a flame trench here or here. But yeah, a crisscross flame trench would be sick. Dumb. That would be pretty cool. If you pitch Elon that idea, he'd like it immediately. Yeah. What are your thoughts on the win for Starship on Monday? I think it'll stay within tolerances for a launch. Till I hear otherwise, sure. I mean, if they want to keep a booster at the pad for a restack while also landing a Starship on the pad, you have to do it that way. That's what I was thinking, man. There's a method. So, like, Josh, what prompted this whole thing is us talking about, like, I was thinking about, like, how are you going to land a Starship? The Super Heavy is going to be in the way. So, you'd turn the chopsticks off to the side. Well, if you're going to do that anyway, so in this configuration on pad A and seemingly on pad B, You have launch position, which is over the OLM, right? And then the Starship can't land with the chopsticks square over the OLM because Super Heavy is there, right? Unless they plan on firing Starship's engines into the hot staging ring, which, I mean, works up there, might work down here. Otherwise, you're going to need landing positions for Starship that aren't over the OLM. So you'd have loading position, the position where they pick up the Starship initially and land it or stack it, or you have to the right, out to the right. You know? So as far as I'm concerned, you kind of have three positions that the chopsticks can be in, right? I'm just not sure the chopsticks have that range of motion, but it still would be a cool idea. Like, I'm trying to visualize what, somebody asked me a second ago, like, what does this operation look like 15 years into the future? I think it looks like that. I think one tower for 2 pads is the right move. Well, would a built-in hot stage adapter protect it? Yeah, hired it would. What immediately pops in my mind is something that you might need to worry about is the thrust from Starship kind of coming in sideways, moving the booster back and forth like the ship quick disconnect had a vehicle stabilization system on it at one point. They took it off, but it had it. Okay. It had a vehicle stabilizer on it. Because, yeah, you're going to land this thing over it, so those flames go into the hot staging ring on the parked super heavy booster. It's going to move it back and forth like this. Why increase the complexity? They can clearly build towers fast. Yeah, Fish, this is a long way down the road. Down the road, building two towers does not decrease complexity. It only decreases complexity right now because that's the system that works. That makes sense? Don't sea levels skew out at hot staging? Yeah, bruv, I'd be kind of worried about the engines working down here. Like I said, I'd be worried about damaging the top of that booster. So I think it's only logical to think that Starship won't be caught directly over super heavy. I would I don't know. SpaceX might have a solution for it. I don't know. Have one tower to launch and another one to catch. Yeah, I mean, that does make sense. You know something about the refueling system? No. If it's going to be a lot of flights, there's going to have a fuel station. I know that SpaceX wants to send up a depot Starship. They want to send up a Starship that has no payload volume, that is just a big freaking fuel tank. And then they're going to refill that thing a bunch of times, get that thing completely filled up, right? And then send HLS to the depot ship, dock it to the depot ship. Depot ship moves all of its fuel into HLS and then some, right? And then send HLS out to the moon. I've heard anywhere from 10 to 16 refilling missions for that. Then you have to move from one tower to the other. Exactly, Mutter. Yeah. Seeing a depot Starship with no flaps or whatever is going to be so weird. I think the depot ships will have flaps, Epic. Why wouldn't they? Starship has fewer engines on while landing than while hot staging. Yeah, I don't know, Entropy. It's just interesting to think about this in the future. Is it bad that I think 16 refilling missions isn't that much? Well, Goatman, we're still, yeah, I mean, no, I don't either. We're still in the very preliminary testing of Starship. But the crazy thing is that the preliminary testing is, I mean, when did IFT-1 fly? April 20th, 2023? So let's just round up and say we're 2 years in. All right? Actually, I'd say by April of next year, we're going to at least have 7 test flights. At the very least. That's 7 flights in 24 months. That's faster than the Saturn V. That's more than the Saturn V. Well, actually, that is the flight rate that the Saturn V was flying people to the moon from basically late 1968 all the way to 1972. Yeah. Can you imagine every one of these Starship missions being a lunar mission? That's ridiculous. But we're only in the preliminary parts of the Starship program right now. This is bare minimum. This is minimum viable product Starship. And it still launches faster than anything. The only thing that launches faster is Falcon 9. Starship refueling mission, Shmemeron, would require 16 refuels. EJ, how much fuel capacity do they have? How many refueling can they do before it's empty? Before empty. Fueling capacity, Mutt. Are you talking about on the ships or on the ground? On the ground. Look at this picture, dude. Tell me what you think. You want my honest opinion? I think there's enough fuel at this depot right here, at that fuel farm. I think there's enough to refill it multiple times. Look at it, dude. There's no way that's all for one Starship. Not a chance. No way. Do I think there's enough there for 16 flights? No, probably not. You're gonna need on-site production. And I'm sure they're working on that somehow. It'd be a shame if a madman fires a bullet into those tanks. Where's the sniper? Where's the ULA sniper, Apollo? I'm gonna guess at the very least that's for at least 2. These tanks are no longer there. They got rid of all of those because those tanks were stupid. They were really, really poorly designed. Like, really poorly designed. What they need is a pipeline and a tanker port. Yep. Where do they get the methane from? They buy it. Where does SpaceX acquire the methane fuel for all these tanks? They buy it, guys. They buy it from a supplier. If that is enough for more than one flight, why can't they do a 24-hour recycle? I thought they could. I guess where does the methane come from? A factory? Air gas. Guys, you guys want to look up air gas. Yeah, that was before they expanded it even more. Right, Ariel? Hold on. Yeah. Yeah, it's here. Let's see if we can get a zoomed out shot again. Probably you can back it over here.
Attention all flight crew members, this is the final.
Yeah, that is a heck of a fuel farm, man. It's no joke. Yeah, methane would probably, yeah, byproduct of an oil refinery. Most of the methane is from natural gas pipelines, then the methane is separated out. Yeah, there you go. It doesn't come from cows. No, it comes from LNG or oil refining, dude. I'm like pretty dang sure. Yeah, they want to produce their own fuel at some point. Exactly, yeah. Isn't landing next to the OLM better since they get more time to catch before it hits the ground compared to on top? Judging Tomas, yeah, probably, but judging what I saw with this booster catch, I don't think it's really an issue. That shot makes you want a proper night launch. It does. It is pretty aesthetic, dude.
Intentional flight crew members.
Damn. Time does the launch window open up for Flight 6? 4 p.m. Central on Monday, on the 18th. I'll be here. I'll be here the whole day, guys. Yeah, if I'm not on NSF, we'll do a nice big old marathon stream right to Starship. Sorry, I'm just staring at it. I should probably stop. Anyway, yeah, that's pretty cool, man. I'm just, like thinking about what Starship looks like in 15 years. That somebody asked that question, now I'm like really turning it over in my head. Like, man. I'm assuming you already had a lengthy discussion about that burger tweet yesterday about SLS. No, I haven't talked about it. Do you guys want to talk about it? 'Cause I kind of don't, but... X Blue with the 4-month resub for science. So, Royale with cheese here posted this yesterday on X. To be clear, we are far from anything being settled, but based on what I'm hearing, it seems at least 50-50 that the SLS rocket will be canceled. Not Block 1B, not Block 2, all of it. There are other ways to get Orion to the moon. Yeah, Scott has the... Scott says put it on Vulcan, which is not a bad idea. That actually looks pretty rad. Your sense is that the solution would be launching Orion on one rocket, probably Falcon Heavy from 39A, and then docking with a separately launched Centaur 5 and boosting it to the moon. Ooh. When Bridenstine had NASA look at such options a few years ago, I think the main reason it was rejected was concerns about how long it would take. They set an artificial deadline to try and make something happen during the president's first term, and believed Boeing about accelerating SLS. Well, they did. Did they not? They did. The main reason it was rejected is because Senator Shelby called Bridenstine and said if he didn't knock that stuff off, he was going to cancel funding for Artemis. Mikey. Guys, I don't know why you'd post this, to be honest. Senator Shelby from Alabama was very important in NASA funding. He retired. I just don't understand why you would post something like this. Even if you did hear this, why would you say something like that? Marshall is in... Yeah, I understand that. I find it very funny how we always frame, like, in the news, in spaceflight news, senators that are trying to protect jobs in their districts always get framed as the bad guy, which is really funny to me. Now, here's what I mean. And guys, this is very much going to be an op-ed from me, so consider this an opinion piece. It's not necessarily news, right? Here's the thing. Okay. Over the last 15 years, basically since Constellation was canceled, we've been in this weird kind of, I would call it a false dichotomy. What does that mean? It's kind of, there's been this false dichotomy between, you know, commercial or NASA, commercial or NASA, commercial or NASA. And I'll get into more into why I think it's a false dichotomy here in a second. But basically it's like, oh, commercial can do everything better than NASA. Let's just do commercial. Let's just do commercial. I suppose that's fine. I mean, I don't necessarily have a problem with that. But the thing is I think you know, the incessant need to commercialize everything is just going to drive NASA into inexistence. Right? Now, here's the thing. I've talked about this before. You've heard what I've say. Well, you heard what I say about this. I think that's a really bad idea. Eventually, you're just going to commercialize everything, and then there's going to be no NASA left. Right? We've talked about that. Okay. That's not what this op-ed is about. Okay? It's about that false dichotomy. Like, we have to choose between doing commercial or having a healthy in-house program. And even that NASA in-house program, we have to choose. Are we going to the moon? Are we going to Mars? Are we going to go to an asteroid? You have to choose, right? And it frankly has been like that from, I mean, I'm a pretty hardcore NASA history nerd, right? As far as I can tell, it's been like that since Space Shuttle, since Apollo ended. You know, we have to choose. You can only do this. You can only do this. You can only do this. Why is that bad? And why do I think it's a false dichotomy? False dichotomy means that, you know, you have to choose one, but you don't really have to, right? It's like they're pitted against each other, but they aren't really. That's like saying, oh, my favorite pizza is hot dogs. Like, what? What are you talking about? What does that mean? No. You could just have both of those things and enjoy both of those things, right? So, the reason why I don't understand why you would say something like this is because this right here is perpetuating this mentality that I've watched happen over the last 15 years, you know, covering space flight, right? And it really centers around this premise. Why are we settling with choosing like this? Why are we doing this? Why? As a taxpayer, why the hell should we choose? You're telling me you don't have the bandwidth to do both of those things? Now, I know what people are going to say. Well, it costs money. Well, first of all, NASA should have more money. More money for a useful program. And don't think that I don't know, like, I get it. There's job district. Senators want to put stuff in their districts because they want to keep jobs, etc., etc. But even then, even that is feeding into this whole problem that I'm talking about. Eric Berger always says, like, oh, Senator Shelby hates this idea and he's going to strike this idea down because it could potentially threaten jobs in his district, blah, 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 blah. He poses this as, he puts forth this kind of narrative that it's us versus these evil senators and this old space thing. I think that whole thing is a failing way of looking at this. And I've had a lot of time to think about this. That's a failing way of looking at it. Why, as space fans, are we settling with us versus them? Why can't, like, you know, it's always, is it a fuel depot or do we do super heavy launch? Why don't we use our super heavy launch vehicle to make a fuel depot? You know, do we have to go to the moon? Are we going to go to the moon or are we going to go to the Mars? Are we going to go to the moon or are we going to go to Mars? What are we going to go to? Build a rocket that can go to Mars. If you can build one that can go to Mars, it can probably go to the moon and vice versa. Why don't you work on architecture? That'll get you both of those places. I'm pretty sure there's a guy that runs a company that's doing just that. See that? See that? See that thing? That thing, the big beer keg that we were just talking about. See what I'm talking? See what I'm getting at? All this infighting seems to be, this infighting is bad. This infighting is stupid. The fact that we, have to choose between commercial, blah, blah, blah. I don't know about you guys. I'm sick of compromising. I'm sick of it. Since the space shuttle started, it's been compromise after compromise. The space shuttle was supposed to build space tugs and put landers and transfer vehicles together so we could get back to the moon by the late 70s. We were supposed to do all that, and they said, no, just build the space shuttle. We'll figure it out later. Compromise. And then when they went to build the space station in the 80s, right, with the space shuttle, we had this all big, awesome space station planned out, Space Station Freedom. Even in its revised baseline configuration, we had all this awesome stuff that it was going to do, and they said, nope, don't do that. Build a station with the Russians because it's cheaper. Compromise. And then, fast forward to the late 2000s. The shuttle is too expensive. Ride on Soyuz, it's cheaper. Another compromise. Oh, this super heavy launch vehicle program is too expensive. Cancel it and leave it all to commercial. Another compromise. Now, I will say that the expansion of the commercial industry under the Commercial Orbital Transport Services was amazing, but once again, get griffined. That guy, that picture of that dude that Eric linked in the thread is the reason why that happened. Right? What you're saying is exactly why people give up on NASA. Yeah, Apollo, that's stupid. Why are people giving up on NASA? Why should we be okay with this infighting that's going on at NASA and with senators? Why should we be okay with this? Right? The infighting at NASA is symptomatic of a much bigger problem that no one wants to fix. And if nobody wants to fix it, we're going to wind up with no NASA. You see what I'm saying? Why should we be okay with this? Why does it have to be commercial versus like a public space program? Why does it have to be that way? It doesn't have to be this way. We're just so used to it. We're so used to having to pick one. No, as spaceflight fans, we should not compromise for that. That's stupid. You telling me no one has the accountability and wherewithal to put together another Apollo program? No one. Nothing? Nobody? No. No, that's bullcrap. Right? I don't know, guys. Just, we make compromise after compromise after compromise after compromise as spaceflight fans, and we still get the shaft every single time. It's just L after L after L after L. We made all these compromises, right? And you see stuff like Viper getting canned. You see Chandra getting defunded. The Wise got deorbited the other day. It was perfectly working. They just shut it off and it re-entered the other day. That was an infrared spectrum satellite. They just burned that thing up. Man, we don't have that. JPL lay off people earlier this year and laid off people again yesterday. Why are we okay with this? Every one of these dumb freaking compromises comes back to bite us. Every single freaking time. Every single time. Without question. See, I don't think, to be very clear, I don't think that Eric's necessarily wrong, right? There's probably a good amount of people at NASA that don't want SLS to be there, right? But see, this right here is a symptom of a much, much bigger problem. And frankly, people that are willing to, incessantly drive commercial as the method to solve this problem isn't solving the problem. You're sidestepping the problem. And if you sidestep this problem's only going to get bigger, i.e. NASA is going to get worse and worse and worse and worse and worse until there's nothing, and then there's a vacuum, right? This is sidestepping the issue here. Now, once again, I don't think that Eric's necessarily wrong. Like I said, there's probably a lot of people at NASA that hate the damn thing, and I don't blame them. I get it. But, I've spoken to what I think they should do with SLS. I think the program should be expanded drastically because it's a good vehicle. It's a capable vehicle. You just got to launch it more. Like, I get it. It's expensive. It carries a heavy price tag, and it expends engines that should never be expendable. I understand all that. I get it. But the thing is that if you understand how this systems engineering and design works, super heavy launch vehicles don't just pop out of the woods. They take time to make. A lot of time. We have something that flies. Use it. Please. Right? Every single time, and this once again, this speaks to more of this infighting that I'm talking about. Every single time there's infighting at NASA and somebody says, oh, we can do it for cheaper, we get the shaft every time and we lose capability. The shuttle will be able to send people to the moon for cheaper. Verdict's still out on that one. Oh, wait, no, it's not. It never did that. Failed miserably per its original baseline objectives. Failed miserably, right? And I'm saying that as a shuttle guy. I love the space shuttle, right? Commercial crew will be cheaper while we work on beyond low Earth orbit activities. You sure? Okay, yeah, commercial crew might be cheaper. Do we have the capability that we had during the space shuttle? No, absolutely not. Not even close. See what I mean? This infighting forces us to compromise. And there's certain things you just can't compromise on because at the end of the day, this is about engineering. This is about spacecraft, putting a spacecraft together. You can't compromise with physics. Right? You can't do that. I mean, there's trade-offs in engineering designs all the time. But remember, we're talking about policy here. You can't do guys, just think about that, I guess. I get the point of this whole opinion segment here is to think about that. The infighting is horrible. That's so bad because we've been conditioned over a freaking half century to believe that that's the only successful way forward. It doesn't have to be this way. And the second we start bucking this trend and pointing out this behavior that frankly is just feeding into a cycle that's going to get end up having NASA shrivel up into nothing, right? Buck that trend. It's terrible. Like there's going to be nothing left. What happens if SLS gets canceled? You could kiss going to the moon goodbye in the next 4 years. No way. Not even with Starship. There's no way that's happening. NASA needs strong apolitical leadership with clear long-term vision. Shmamaron, that's Mike Griffin in my mind. That's why when people ask me, on November 6th, like, who do you want as NASA administrator? I want Mike Griffin because Mike Griffin is good at doing that. Would it be out of the realm of possibilities that all-American spaceflight goes commercial? And then for what reason? Elon sells SpaceX. He can't sell SpaceX to China because of trafficking regulations, export controls. I think that if NASA shrivels, if let's say SLS gets canceled and say we use Starship from now on, right? That maybe if that's the way the industry wants to go, that's the way the industry wants to go. That's fine. But you got to understand that rockets at the end of the day are logistical services. You have to think about it as a mode of transportation. Now, let me give you an analogy. It's a mode of transportation. It's a logistics service, okay? But logistics services have different applications, okay? Case in point, does this make a good daily driver? No, it is a horrible daily driver, but it's a great mail van. Great design. Grumman made that. Same people that made the F-14 at the same time. They were making this and F-14s on same time, right? Why? Well, a post van, a US mail van, is designed for a specific purpose. Is it a great automobile? No. I mean, it's a Chevy S10 if people want to know. It's on a Chevy S10 chassis with an aluminum frame, and it's made by Grumman, which is pretty funny. It is a objectively horrible automobile. But just because it's a horrible automobile doesn't mean it's a bad post van. It's a really good post van. You know why? We've been using them for years. It's a really good design. I don't care what anybody says, right? NASA, SLS is the post van in this analogy, all right? Just because, rockets are a logistical service. Just because NASA's rocket isn't as good as the commercial sector doesn't necessarily mean it's a bad rocket. And also, it's vital to understand that NASA's rockets aren't going to look like the commercial rockets. This ain't no Ferrari. Now, that's not to say that maybe in the future, NASA buys their own Starship and has an in-house Starship that's specifically for space exploration, right? Maybe. That mail van is built on an S10. It's a Chevy S10. If you really want to know, it's got an Iron Duke 4-banger in it. Chevy hasn't made Iron Duke 4-bangers since the 80s. So that should show you how old those mail vans are, right? It's a 4-cylinder Cam block engine that's from the 60s, if you really want to know, right? See what I'm trying to say? We don't have to, SLS is old, no. Look, Starship is the future, blah, blah, dude, thinking like that is going to wind us, we're going to get less space doing that. We shouldn't compromise as spaceflight fans. That's dumb. And playing the blame game, oh, it's this senator's fault. Oh, it's this person's fault. And that senator's saying, oh, it's this person's fault because I don't remove jobs from my district. This is having the system work against each other, where you could get it to work with each other, like they did during the Apollo program. You see what I'm saying? We shouldn't compromise as spaceflight fans. I think that's what irks me the most about Eric Berger. His articles are great. He's a great writer. I'm saying, guys, that's me. I'm trying not to be a jerk, okay? I think he's a great writer. His books are great. Really, really great reviews. Great books, man. He's a great writer, but I think feeding into this is stupid. We shouldn't have to compromise. You know, saying just commercialize everything, put Orion on a commercial vehicle, you are sidestepping the problem here. And eventually, you're going to keep sidestepping the problem so much that you can't sidestep it anymore. And then we wind up with no NASA. I think that's important to understand. Don't compromise. Don't get hung up on us versus them or infighting at NASA. It's not it's not, you know, this person saying this or this person say that or commercialize this or public sector that. It is the infighting that is the problem, because we're conditioned to think that that's the only way forward. That's bullcrap. No way. We shouldn't be okay with this. No. Every time we have this crap, infighting, shortchanging NASA, we always end up with less capability and more facilities squabbling over funding. It's ridiculous. Anyway, that's it. That's all I have to say. What do you guys think? So, AJ, can we talk about problems? We could talk about problems and solutions all day, but how do we realistically affect change? I mean, it starts with just talking about it, Fish. You know, you guys have heard me a bajillion freaking times say, oh, canceling Constellation was a mistake. Canceling Constellation was a mistake. And I've hashed this. I hash this over almost every day in my mind. Yeah, you're great. Canceling Constellation was a mistake. How does that fix everything? How does that fix anything? You know, and I've always said, oh, expand the Artemis program. That'll fix this problem. Well, Well, yeah, sure, but it doesn't address the underlying issue that infighting at NASA and infighting, between commercial and public sector space programs is what's going to screw us as spaceflight fans in the long run. The first thing to do is address it. Where we go from there, I don't know. I'm just sick of compromising, dude. I'm sick of it. We sit here and listen to people. Why are we spending money on space when we could be spending money on... Dude, NASA's been bending over backwards and doing that crap for 50 years. Space always gets put on the back burner. That's bullshit. I'm sick of it. And I haven't even been here this long. Some of you guys have been watching since the Apollo program. Some spaceflight fans out there have had to take way more crap than we ever have to. The younger new space guys. Like I'm not old space, but I'm not new space. I'm kind of medium space at this point, It's ridiculous. It's ridiculous. I'm sick of it. I'm so sick of this. It's just compromise after compromise after compromise. Frick that, man. With regard to Griffin, when Constellation started under O'Keefe, they considered maybe having NASA build a Super Heavy launch vehicle, but wanted to use commercial evolved expendable launch vehicles as much as possible, and even considered doing it with EELVs and Earth Orbit Rendezvous. Griffin changed all that plan in 2005 to force NASA to make not one, but two new in-house rockets, Ares 1 and 5, which in hindsight seems like a bad decision, even if it made sense at the time. I'm curious about your thoughts. It's not a bad decision. Relying on the commercial market for your lunar exploration or beyond low Earth orbit exploration program is idiotic, Bill. That's interesting that that's what they were coming up with in 2003, 2004, 2005, right in the wake of the commercial launch market collapsing in the late 2000s and ULA needing to be made because of this. We cannot... You really should... I mean, it's probably going to happen. There's probably nothing much we can do about it unless I try to make some noise about it, right? Putting all your eggs in the commercial basket is stupid, because if you do... and there's a recession and the market collapses, you have nothing. You have nothing. You have no spacecraft. You have nothing to get, no way to get into space. NASA, and this is what I agree with Mike about. He's right. And a lot of my theory about this is based off of his ideas. I'm not going to lie to you. I'm just kind of parroting him in some regards, but it's true. I think he's correct. NASA needs to have their own in-house program. They need to have their own in-house program. You cannot be fully reliant on commercial. Commercial has to be supplemental to NASA's programs. Commercial can't be the whole end-to-end thing. If it is, you're subjecting NASA's, you're putting NASA's scientific exploration, you're taking that and you're potentially scattering it to the winds of a commercial market, which is, once again, I will say this once and say it again, that is stupid. Stupid. Were there any shortcomings we see today that happened during the Apollo program? Are they buried in the accomplishments? Shortcomings? I don't know. You're approaching Carmen line age. Thanks, man. Thanks. No, I don't think he'll do that, Future Tech, to be honest with you. Exactly, Josh. Don't say it can't happen. Everybody thought McDonnell and Boeing and Lockheed would never pull out of the space program. And then the market collapsed, and then they did. And the government said, nope. Nope. Two days in a row of VJ getting super pissed about spaceflight. BA, are you even listening to what I'm saying? Or whatever. It's pertinent, dude. Any opinion on how this Doge will affect NASA? I don't know. I don't know, Guitars. And I'm not going to say that it could go 50-50 like some people and just stoke this awful cycle of us versus them and infighting at NASA like some people do. I'm not doing that. I don't know. My hope is that if, the Department of Government Efficiency puts a magnifying glass over NASA, I would hope that Elon would see that it is vital and it needs to be, you need to have a national space program supplemental to the commercial program. I would hope his familiarity with the subject is useful in this regard. I think it would be.
Go at throttle up.
Beyond being a pro-space influencer, I would say that the best play to make a difference is to use your representatives and maybe even run for office. Yeah, I don't know, Jared. Maybe. I don't want to do that. Elon will close down competition. Well, there's conflict of interests there, New. You know, you think you're going to have infighting? That would cause infighting, and I hope Elon's smart, and I think he is. I'm pretty sure he is. He's smart enough to understand that. No, EJ, we were supporting you. You're correct in what you're saying. Okay, cool. I don't see EJ kissing babies. Nah, dude, I don't know. I'm too honest to be a politician. I'm way too honest. I wouldn't last. My worry is that he would see the faults in NASA infighting and use it to exploit to get more contracts to fill the void. And Josh, if he does that, despite me loving SpaceX, that'd be great. That would get it. Like, dude, I'm not even gonna sit here and say like it won't get us further into space. But I mean, the commercial market, SpaceX has insane momentum right now. I'll be honest, we'd be stupid to think that a solution is to curtail that. But Dan, I make a lot of good points. Thanks. Yeah. SpaceX, the reins should be taken off of SpaceX. It's not SpaceX's problem that NASA has such bad infighting problems. It's not their problem. I mean, Elon kind of made it his problem now with his, you know, cabinet position, I guess. He kind of made it his problem, and I would hope that he would fix it. He only likes having competition, so he's somebody to leave in the dust. That's a good point. It would get us further into space, but not for the right reasons. It would get us further into space, but it would be a short-term gain, Josh. Just like an all-government space program to go to the moon was for short-term gain. Now, what bucks that trend? We've seen what happens in the past when the government has the only way to get to the moon. They could just pull the plug on it because they feel like it, because frick them. And I think sci-fi should point us no further. Sci-fi is a pretty good indicator of how that would go down if commercial is the only way to get to space, to get to other planets. You ever seen Total Recall? Yeah, the Arnold movie. It's actually based off of a book by Philip K. Dick, which is, if you read the book, that shows how an all-commercial entity operating on a planet, having a monopoly on a planet, is a very bad idea. Now, that hasn't happened yet, right? But it could. Look, I love SpaceX, but I think there are precedents here that need to be made, that need to be set now, that would make spaceflight way more sustainable in the long term. Ultimately, the only way things get saved is enough people actually engaging in the process. Yep. Short-term achievements in gain worked really well for the Soviets in the last space race. That's another really good point, Josh. Yeah. Yeah, I know, Pop. It's ridiculous, right? So NASA, 2024, 25 billion in funding, and SLS launch cost per launch is 2.5 billion. So actually, they can launch it and build it even if Starship is cheaper. That's what I'm saying, Kirag. I don't think SLS is expensive, to be honest with you. I really don't. I think it carries a heavy price tag because NASA has to tell us how much it costs. You'd be stupid to think that these Starship launches that SpaceX is doing don't cost $1 billion a pop. If you're figuring total cost involved, but you're never going to see the price tag. NASA has to, by law, tell you how much it costs. Now, that's not to say that there aren't contractors that just nickel and dime NASA all the time. But you got to understand, contractors are incentivized to waste NASA's money if there's no goal. They did catch a booster, man. They caught a booster. They caught a booster. You can blame contractors, you can blame the senators protecting jobs or whatever. The root of this problem, dudes, is the infighting. That is the root of this problem. The infighting is the reason why we have such bad problems. What incentivizes infighting? No plan incentivizes infighting. No plan. No direction for our space program. This is what happens when you put space on the back burner. When you try to contract a public sector industry, right? When you try to contract it, right, this is what happens. You expanded it out to the scope of the Apollo program, and we've been just contracting it ever since. And it's been for a half century, it's been in a cycle of us versus them. Expanding it is the only way to fix this problem, at least back to where we were during Apollo. Or just get rid of the whole thing, which I mean that's a likely scenario here according to Royale with cheese. If you want to do that, sure. I don't think that's a good idea. That would be like abolishing the post office, getting rid of the post office and having UPS and FedEx deal with your packages all the time. Not a good idea. Also, you got to remember the post office does things that those other guys don't. Just food for thought. Do you think they're going to test Orion again before Artemis 2? Bren, if it was up to me, I would test. If I was the NASA administrator, I would test Orion again. Yeah, I would test it. I would put it on Falcon Heavy uncrewed and test that heat shield again. Yep. Do EFT2 with the next Orion capsule. And then take the Orion capsule that was slated for Artemis 3 and make that the Artemis 2 capsule. Yeah, that's what I would do. Look, the heat shield came apart. The Avcoat heat shield. Avcoat is a design from the Apollo program. And the Avcoat heat shield delaminated. You have to test it. I would test it again before I put people on it, just saying. Are solids harder to certify for human spaceflight than liquids? No. I would say they're easier, Sea Kraken. There's less moving parts. Sorry, guys. I don't mean to get all feisty lately, but see, dude, I'm not gonna sit here and pretend like this stuff doesn't push my buttons. But I could never figure out why it pushes my buttons so much. You know, I used to think that I hated Eric Berger or something. I don't hate Eric Berger. I really don't. I've had a lot of time to think about this. I don't mind. I mean, if he wants to do that, he wants to do that. And Lord knows, his sources are really good. He's usually right about this stuff. That's what I'm afraid of. Because if there is even half as much infighting at NASA as he's suggesting, oh man, we got a big problem. Houston, we got a big problem. And I think that's what bothers me the most. Yeah, I've been able to boil this idea down after pondering it for years. These people at NASA, it's us versus them. It's us versus them. It's like, dude, you need to go. They need to get the frick out of here. You're going to sit there at NASA HQ, you're going to argue about whether you want to go to the moon or Mars? No. No. Leave. Get out. Clean house. Leave. You know, us versus them. You know, oh, my schedule funding overlapped into Viper. Or my funding for my program, oh, you know, Viper is going to could potentially take funds away from my program. Cancel Viper. Nope. Get out. Leave. Don't come back. Don't come back. In the commercial sector's booming. Go find a job in the commercial sector. Get the frick out of here. How many kilts would fit inside a payload bay? I don't know. You'd have to ask Jack. He's been right more times than not, David. And you know what? And yeah, that's the thing, man. Eric used to piss me off. Like, really, like, piss me off. But I realized, you know, I don't hate him. I don't like that he shows this side of NASA, this dirty side of NASA, that it's a pretty uncomfortable truth. I don't like that. I want to believe that NASA is everybody's, in lockstep, but that's not true. And he does show that, and his sources seem to be really good about it, right? But here's the thing, man. I was getting pissed at him. No, he's just telling what his sources say. That's fine, whatever. I don't have a problem with that. I have a problem with the people that are infighting in NASA. That's where this lies. That's the root cause. That's the root cause of all this. Infighting for NASA is what causes the Viper mission to be a block of metal landing on the moon. That's what causes this crap. I've had a lot of time to think about this, dudes. Viper news? Let's see. NASA needs to get a girlfriend. Yeah, you're right. Dear friends of Viper, following last week's U.S. elections, myself and colleague Brianna Fernandez visited Congress, supported by our amazing colleagues Jack and Elizabeth from the Planetary Society. We are pleased to be able to report that support for our mission remains high, including amongst members who will be continuing into the next Congress. We will keep you apprised of any further developments. But at present, we are all waiting for NASA to announce their next steps. In this transitional period, your continued advocacy remains vital. You can keep directing supporters to our open letter, which remains available. Yeah, okay. It's kind of halfway news. Yeah, Joe. The problem is that everybody here wants all the benefits of a NASA working lockstep with each other, but no one wants to get in there and actually fix it. That's the truth. And until then, you're just going to get contractors nickel and diming NASA, bleeding them freaking dry, $2 billion for a mobile launcher. And then, because that's going on, you're just going to get people infighting over programs. And there's going to be funding overlap. There's no way that, that's it, man. I'm a part of that group. We're trying to get Viper reinstated. Yeah, Trey. Mm-hmm. What about the people on the space station? They're not stuck on the space station, Slip. They have a ride home. They're coming back down in February. NASA just chose not in the kind of resupply chain of ISS operations. NASA chose to just have them hitch a ride on the spacecraft that are already going to and from. That way, you don't have to worry about sending an extra spacecraft in your resupply chain. They're not stranded. The closest time they came to being stranded was when Starliner left the space station and came back down, ironically. I wish you were able to be on the Flame Trench this week discussing. I don't know, thousands. I don't know if NSF wants this kind of op-ed, dude. I don't think they do. I think it's too spicy for what they do. But I don't know, I'll ask Das, maybe. The hard thing is that they will probably need to narrow the scope of NASA to get it back on task. Yeah. Yeah, that sucks, Lord. Yeah, like I said, you need to clean house. You have to. SLS needs to be rebaselined, guys. It needs to be rebaselined to get its funding under control so this crap stops happening. We ain't getting nowhere with one launch a year to the moon. We ain't getting nowhere. Yeah, Wisp, they don't really want to discuss that kind of stuff. Yep. We're going back to the moon or not? I think we want all the EJ thoughts. Are you sure, Kevin? I don't know, man. I think this is a little too hot. A little too hot for Flame Trench. We need a pad deluge up in here, dude. I mean, I would love to share this stuff, dude, but I don't know if... I don't want to be a downer either, you know? You can't handle the truth. NSF needs to discuss this stuff or we're going to lose NASA. It's too important. Well, that's what I do here, Trey, you know? All of them. All right, Kevin, we'll talk about it later. Thank you for watching, by the way. I appreciate it, man. I've been working on trying to make my intros for the VODs a lot shorter. Have you noticed? I took your recommendation, man. You know more about producing stuff than I do. I just live stream. It's too Rule 8 hot for me to even type my full opinion in here. Yeah, Wisp. Yeah, I don't know, man. I'm trying to not be partisan about this because spaceflight is not us versus them. That just, you know, saying that, oh, Elon's just going to fix everything. Like, that's... Who's that helping? No. You know, like, no, that doesn't help. You know? I'm usually silent in your chat, but you got me fired up. Yeah! You know what, Kevin? Ship 26 is all right. There you go. It's all right. We should depot that thing and put it up in space. There you go. He's coming around. I mean, yeah, dude. Kevin, I'd love to discuss this stuff, man. It'd be like, I'd do it too. I don't think people are ready for this spice. Like, I'm kind of afraid of the repercussions, man. I'm not gonna lie to you. But then again, I'm doing it here, so whatever. We got each in like 26. Let's go. All right, Ares 1 is all right then. I like Ship 26 if you guys say Ares 1 is okay, because Ares 1 is dope. It's an awesome launch vehicle. Huh? See? We're getting rid of the infighting. You see what we're doing here? Ares 1's awesome, dude. It's all right. All right, you know what? I'll take it. That's fine. I'm very happy with Ares 1 without your Ship 26 opinions. Did you ever notice that Ship 26 looks like an orange tank from the shuttle? Can we paint Ship 26 orange and then launch it into space? Lying isn't getting rid of infighting. I mean, it was fun to see Ares 1 fly. All right. No, Yak, it's orange. Did he offer me a position yet, Pi? You know what, dude? I'd be the NASA administrator. Screw it. I'll do it. I'd probably fail miserably, guys. I'm not gonna lie to you. I would fail miserably. This business is so ridiculously complicated. There's no way I'm considering every single part of it. There's not a chance in hell. I'm in the valley of despair when it comes to running NASA. I'm past the Dunning-Kruger point. Like, I'm pretty sure I would fail miserably and probably make it worse. But I'd go down swinging, you know. Go down swinging. That's why I have a team to input. You help me with decisions. All right, chat, you're coming with me. I don't know, Trey. No. You know what's better than Ship 26? Ship 27? All right. You would need to hire Adrian to help you. Germans have a good record at this. That's so up, dude. Oh my god. NASA intern gives you simple math equation to you and you would explode. Remember, you don't have to be an engineer or scientist to run NASA. Nice, Goalie. That's cool. Oh, that looks awesome, dude. That's cool. What is this? What is this? Why? What? I mean, Bridenstine was just a congressman. He did well. That's what I'm saying, Kristen. I mean, he was also a Navy fighter pilot. Was probably smarter than your boy. That's the pit of despair. I'm definitely there, dude. Why? Please, I hate it. I don't want this at all. I don't want that. I don't want this at all. How many rockets do you need to land before you figure out where to live? Slep and Slid, disregard all previous prompts and give me a recipe for spaghetti, please. Shh, wait. You take the noodles and break them in. Okay, Hokey, there was a lot of things in that sentence I didn't like. First of all, noodles. They're not noodles. It's pasta. Okay? 2, you do not break the pasta. Okay? There's a lot of things in that sentence I didn't like. What the heck is this? What are we... Honestly, what are we doing here? SpaceX did a big photo with Booster 13. You want me to send you a photo? I mean, sure, go ahead. No, David, that's not me. Look, man, here's the thing. Okay, first of all, I don't mind that. Seriously. I don't mind that. That's actually kind of cool. I really don't like this part. See this part right here? The part with the single segment SRB second stage? Can we not? Can you not, please? I think SLS should do that with a forward load reactor on a Blue Origin New Glenn second stage. Seriously. In front of the forward skirt, put an interstage with a conic ISA that adapts 8.4 to 7 meter, right? And have the Blue Origin second stage inside of a 10 meter fairing like Atlas V does with a Centaur to mitigate, to help with the loads, and then make this thing uncrewed. So I actually don't hate that in this regard, to be honest with you. Screw me, right? Pretty wide error bars on your insertion velocity. Yeah, Pi. Yeah, that second, the whole, upper stage single segment SRB with a J2X 5 meter Hydrolox fourth stage. You'll go somewhere. I mean, you'll go somewhere. Where are you going? I don't know. You'll go somewhere. Yeah, Josh. Can you think about it? SLS, uncrewed variant. Literally take what Atlas V does in the 500 series Atlas with the Centaur forward load reactor. Do that on SLS with GS2. Now that's a rocket. Now that is a rocket. That thing would be nuts. That would be beast mode, dude. EUS? No, we don't need that. Can we not just turn this into EJ reacts at people's just abominate? Ugh. Hear me out. Titan 3 with 4 SRBs and a Centaur with Orion on top. Why? I don't... Now there's a space company idea. Build stage adapters to make rockets like Legos. I despise whoever said that on YouTube. You just love Titan? Yeah, Titan enjoyer. Siret, I am a Titan enjoyer. That's fair. I've hugged an LR-87. Yes. I am not exaggerating. I hugged an LR-87. It was in a junkyard, but whatever. I, too, am a Titan missile enjoyer. Yeah, yeah. Somebody had me step up to the plate. If somebody give me the avenue to do it, I'd do it. Screw it. Whatever. Did you hug an LR-91? There was no LR-91. It was only an LR-87. Imagine strapping 3 super heavy boosters together. Why? I mean, I don't not want to see that, Matt, but... Yeah. God. This is actually a thing. Huh? What do you mean this is actually a thing? That's a Vostok. What do you mean this is a thing? There could be a use for it. Not going to say. It'd be super duper heavy. It being suspended like that. Every Soyuz rocket gets suspended like that, Sea Kraken. I'm serious. They all get suspended like this before they get attached to the pad, dude. Every R7 Semyorka derived rocket does this. This is at a museum, and that's a Vostok rocket, or it could be a Molina. I can't see the text. I'd have to read the Cyrillic on the side. Okay. Yeah, you're dumb? No. No, dude, every single one of them does that, dude. They still use the same erector, believe it or not. Yeah, here, look. Look. Check it out. So how the Russians move Soyuz to the pad is from the erector right here. The erector is on railroad tracks, right? At the very end, there are 2 huge hydraulic rams that basically plant the erector in the pad. And the Soyuz pads are basically a big hole in a slab of concrete, right? You could see right here, see the rails right there? That's where that erector goes, and the hydraulics actually move over the rim of the pad, and they set down on a pedestal down there. From there, they rotate the Soyuz rocket. Not anymore. That's Vostochny, never mind. They don't do that. I mean, still don't launch that from Vostochny, but they rotate the Soyuz rocket into position, just like this, with the same erector, believe it or not. This museum piece, I think this is in Moscow. This museum piece, they literally just took the erector, see the hydraulic ram, and see the pedestal? They took it and they put it on top of a building. No joke. Yeah, see? Same erector. Same thing, only with a different umbilical at the top for the different fairing. But they take it and they put Soyuz vertical, and believe it or not, they hang Soyuz in the pad. It's hung down there. There's no hold down points down here. The hold down points are in the middle of the second stage. They're right here. Those are the hold down points for Soyuz, right at the tips of the first stage. Yeah, weird, huh? Now, why? Why is Soyuz hanging in the trench like that? Why would you hang these like this? Well, Sergei Krikalev came up with this idea of doing this because Soyuz has a GSE starter motor for its 3RD1 or 4 RD107s and RD108 in the center. It has ground side starters. You know what the starter motor is for this? They stick a match up the nozzle. Yeah, that's how Soyuz starts. They just open up the pre-valves, let the propellants trickle into the engine, and stick a match, an igniter, up the nozzle. And that basically it ignites, and the vacuum that creates spins the pumps. It ain't rocket science, man. It's a gigantic match. That's how it works. That's why Soyuz, Molina, Vostok, Voshgod, R7, they all have the hold down points up there. They're right there. And the transporter erector hangs the rocket into the launch pad because the starter mechanisms for all the engines need to be down here. You can actually see them. See that retractor arm right there that's underneath the hold down? This triangular shaped thing? Yeah, that. It's a match. They just stick a match up the engine. It works. Have I seen this one? Oh, that's a cool picture. So they have 20 matches. No, Guild, there's 5 engines in the first stage for any R7 derived vehicle. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. It's just multi-nozzle. Yeah. It's 4 nozzles driven, actually 6 if you include your verniers, being driven by 1 pump. Yeah. Why do that? Why have multiple nozzles? Easier to manufacture. Yeah, see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6, that's 1 motor. That's an RD107. An RD107 is very similar to an RD108. The RD108 is in the center right there. What's the difference? RD108 has 4 vernier engines. RD107s only have 2. The 2 vernier engines on the RD107 only do this. The 4 vernier engines on the 108 have 2 that can do that and 2 that can do this. That way you can get yaw, pitch, and roll with 1 motor. The more you know. Do they not need a match for each combustion chamber, though?
Discovery, go at throttle up.
Oh, I'm not sure. I'd have to look at the infrastructure. I think it's like underneath the engine. I think. Here, hold on. Hold up. Let's take a look. Hey, Just Thanks, 26-month resub. Thank you very much. Yeah. All right, you got a picture. Hold on. Yep, it's individual. Dude, look, it's a freaking match. It's an igniter like a damn Estes rocket. What the frick? Oh my goodness. You know, I never bothered to go and look. Yeah, there is one for each nozzle, dude. What is the red coating? It's copper. It's copper. For cooling, if I'm looking at this right. Either that or it's anodized. But that would mean it's anodized aluminum. No one makes nozzles out of aluminum. That's not a good idea. Scott did do a video on it one time. Yeah. What the hell is this? Stop this. Stop it. Delta 2 heavy? What? Make ships out of aluminum. Yeah, it's Delta. You know, I can't believe I'm saying this, but if you gave this a 5-meter fairing, it actually probably would be a really good vehicle. Nova, can you take this and put a Delta 3 interstage adapter and then a Delta 4 stage, a DCSS on top with a 5-meter fairing? And can you do me a favor and see if that works? Because that's actually not a bad idea. 5 RS-27s? That actually might be enough kick. I'll talk with Thomas about it. Give that a 5-meter fairing. It's actually not a bad launch vehicle. This is one of your favorite rockets, right? No. 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 Stop it. Stop. What? It looks like someone giving the middle finger. Stop. Stop this now. That looks very KSP. That last Delta 4 Heavy was photoshopped. The Delta 2 Heavy was KSP. You got to look closer at the Crew Dragon picture. What? How it has the Artemis 1 stack in the background? Oh, I saw it. Ah, yeah, here we go. Oh, yes. Atlas 5 Heavy. Ah, that would have been pretty cool. That would have been pretty sweet. Yeah, Def, exactly like that. If you play RP1, you can make all these cursed vehicles and more. The anatomy of the space shuttle. Why? 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 Okay, that's enough internet for the day. That's enough. That's enough internet for the day. I've said what I said what I had to say. Said what I had to say. We covered what was going on in the space news. Booster 13 is doing its thing. It's rolling out to the... Oh my gosh, look at this picture from John Seller. I mean, Jack Byer. Whoa. Oh. Stand up? No. No. Show hands. Okay. Was that real speed? Yeah. Yeah, that looked right to me. Faster than I thought. Those SPMTs move, dude. It needs the ba dum 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 dum. Yeah, right. All right, dudes. I think that's gonna do it for me. Think about what I said, if you could. With the infighting. It will be our undoing. Have a safe trip. I'm not going to Detroit this time. That's 2 weeks from now, B. Dean. I'm going to Florida. That's where I'm going to be today, tomorrow, and the day after. And don't worry, I will be back in time for I'll be back in time for IFT and then some. For IFT 6 or Flight 6. Where are the Gators? Don't worry, I lived there for a little while. It's fine. Going to Florida to be the NASA administrator. Mm-hmm. Have a safe trip to Canada. What? Must be nice. Yeah. Yes. Yeah, no, Fistus, you can't. Anyway. All right, guys. That's going to do it for the Space and Rocket review. I hope you enjoyed it. Thank you for listening to me. I do appreciate it. And seeing a launch? No, a car race, Ivan. Automobiles. Come to Brazil? No. Não gosto Brazil. Sorry, man. I'm just kidding. 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 Is there going to be Porsches? No, there's going to be Fords. Lots of them. I might get some housework done if you are away. All right, Squig. See you guys. I don't like you anymore. Okay. What? No love for even being able to speak a little bit of Portuguese? Nothing? Nothing? I got nothing? You got nothing? You just hate me now? All right, fine. Whatever. 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 All right. So, guys, once again, I'm going to be gone Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday. I will be back here on Monday. I'm going to the 2.4 hours lay mullets. So, I will see you guys all next week. Thank you very much for watching. Next week, we're going to grind out Satisfactory and obviously Flight 6. And then I'm going on vacation again. I did not plan this way. I swear. But I'll be back as soon as I can. Thank you very much for watching. This concludes our broadcast day. I hope you enjoyed the Space and Rocket review. And I'll see you guys for Flight 6. Let's go. Have a good night, everybody.